she's so fine. Hell of a hell of a blows my mind. Hell of a lights my day.
What's good, guys? So this is part 1. The gloves come off for Mikayla. Hashtag justice for Mikayla. I'm going to play this Facebook Live, and after it's over, I'm going to go ahead and start up on the next one. You must listen to this. You must share this. I don't ask much of you. Please share this video on every social media platform you use.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. If you in here, share this live video. Share. Because we're going to walk y'all through the stuff that hasn't been discussed. This DA is disrespectful, to say the least. And what she has now did is the ultimate disrespect. So please share. Go tell people, get up. Go up. Monica is live. Share. Invite people in. Good morning, Jim. Because we're going to have this nice conversation where I'm going to tell you the stuff that we ain't said thus far. But DA Ryan has no problem character assassinating this mother and the Hopkinton Police Department. And now she has recruited white supremacists to do so. So we're going to tell the truth and shame the devil this morning. And this is why I be frustrated at these activists that interview this mom but don't dig deep and ask the real questions. So we about to have the real conversation this morning. Morning, Fia. What's up, Jay? Y'all share. Invite people in because it's about to get real juicy. I'm going to give you a walkthrough of how this is playing out on the back end. Because what you won't do is character assassinate this mom. So, y'all come on. I give one more minute, and then we about to go in. Yeah, child. Listen. I woke up and opened my eyes and looked at my phone and said, oh, no, how dare she? How dare she? Please share this to your groups. Share this to everybody. I want the world to see this. If you know news reporters, tag them in, because we about to go in. Please share. 2 seconds, we're going to go in. Y'all ready? Because I'm ready. So listen, let's start this conversation. I hope people have logged in and tuned in. I know it's 8:18 on a Saturday, but if you anything like me, you are early riser. A friend of Calvina Strothers, which is Mikayla's mother, contacted Tito, asking him to get involved in this case initially, explaining to him what was going on. Mind you, this man lives out of state, contacted Tito. When Tito heard the details of the case, he immediately contacted me and was like, Monica, I need you to do the thing that it is that you do. I said, Tito, say no more. As we begin to get information, talk to this mom, get information on this case, we begin to realize that the cover-up was real. Now, I'm going to drop some things, and I'm going to say allegedly, but I'm going to drop some things. And the reason why is because I woke up this morning, and DA Ryan has leaked a assault case that Mikayla's mother was involved in with her deceased child and gave it to the racist ass Boston Herald. Okay, let me tell you why this is problematic. They initially told her mother they were going to dismiss it. There was no evidence. There was no reason to pursue this case. When she got to the courthouse yesterday, they say to her, well, we continued the court date until July because you were rallying in Hopkinton. Okay? Now, had they dismissed it, no one would be able to discuss it. They purposely kept it open so that they could leak it to the Boston Herald to paint the picture that Mikayla was being abused, which is BS, okay? Not only is it BS, they knew it was BS, but it was done purposefully because DA Ryan is in her feelings that we came to Hopkinton and we're demanding for her removal. This is what they do to people of color. If you have anything wrong, they go looking for it so that they can character assassinate you and take away from what you're advocating for. Why would you keep an assault case open for her deceased child, right? And that child is not here to testify, speak on her own behalf or anything. You know, the same reasons why you haven't filed any criminal charges in the death of Mikayla. Like you told me, Mikayla is not here to testify. That was the reason you gave me as to why you couldn't file criminal charges against these people that jumped her. And the same reason you couldn't do that is the reason why this case shouldn't have went to the Herald, but you did it purposefully because you didn't like that we came to Hopkinton, and then you told that mother that. Okay? You were going to dismiss this case, but instead of dismissing this case, you kept it open so that the media could have access to it. And then you didn't give it to a credible media outlet because none of them were going to touch it. You gave it to the Boston Herald, who's losing traction and losing viewers, and they needed this great catch. Now, we both know the Boston Herald works with racist organizations called Turtle Boy, TB Sports, Turtle Boys Daily News. If you see TB Daily News and you're sharing that article as a black person, you need to reevaluate who you are and what that means. That is a racist news outlet. Everything that they talk about and post is about black people, and they have a fixation on black women. They've been attacking me since 2017. They did it to DA Rachel Rollins. They did it to Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley. They attack anybody. So in addition to you character assassinating this mom, then Turtle Boys drops an article saying the guidance counselor says he missed signs that he could have probably caught that would have prevented Mikayla's suicide. Everybody has deemed this a suicide, but nobody is a doctor. Nobody has done an investigation, and nobody was there when she passed away, or were you? So let's dig deep into these young people who are accused of jumping Mikayla, who are being protected. Jalen, get my water, honey. I wish I had tea.
It's right there.
So let's dig into that, y'all. Right? Mind you, let's just keep it a buck. There's no police log of Mikayla being jumped. There's no police log of them finding her body. But you went and found an assault case from March to share with the Boston Herald. So you couldn't log her death, but you could log this old assault case that her and her mother had from March to try to character assassinate her. We see you. Now, let me walk you through what's been happening behind the scenes. From the very beginning, the moment that the world realized that Monica Cannon Grant was involved and that I was coming to Hopkinton, let me tell you something about the people of Hopkinton. Not all of them are racist. Not all of them are scary. So they begin to send me messages. All kind of people, teachers, guidance counselors, residents, sharing information about who these young people are. One of the first messages I received was that these young people, and more specifically, the Stevens' kids, right? Their father is a former K-9 officer who then who then began to work at the water department, whose last job was on the what? Selectman board. You know, the selectman board that DA Ryan went to had conversations about this case and gave explicit details that she did not give this family. That board. When everyone asked why, when we went on Jim Browdy, and Jim said, so Monica, so DA Ryan, I have the same questions that Monica has. Why hasn't there been an arrest in this case when you state that a crime has been committed? And she said, well, Mikayla is not here. That's why, and we need another person to testify. BS. Do you guys remember the case of the young lady who contributed to the suicide of the white kid who died in the car? She told him get back in the car and turn the car on with the carbon monoxide. They charged her with murder, right? Because she assisted in his death. So explain to me why these 5 white children haven't been arrested. You couldn't log a report, but you can drop an article to character assassinate this mom. Why? Because they're cops' kids. That's why. They are cops' kids. And Sergeant O'Brien knew that. Sergeant O'Brien knew that, which is why he immediately said, trust me. In my 20 years of experience, this is a suicide. This is why all of these people are pushing the suicide narrative, because cops' kids are involved. Let's tell the truth and shame the devil. Let's do that. Allegedly, cops' kids are involved. Allegedly. Okay? So as we move along, I begin to get messages. And allegedly, the Stevens' son's sister is the new girlfriend of Mikayla's ex-girlfriend, allegedly, Caitlin, allegedly. I need y'all to understand why they jumped her. Mikayla's mother discussed it yesterday when she was speaking to Tamika Mallory, but of course, me and Tito didn't get a chance to go on and have this conversation to give further details and explain the narrative that's being created around this mom. Mikayla broke up with Caitlin, allegedly, and called her mother and stated, hey, I have her sweatshirts and I just want to return them, expecting that the mom would come and pick them up. That mother, instead of coming to get them, went and told her daughter that Mikayla had called. That daughter then recruited these individuals, went to the clubhouse. The clubhouse is in the apartment complex where Mikayla lives. This is why them saying that there was no camera footage of the apartment complex is suspicious, because they would have caught all of these young people on camera. But it's funny that it disappeared for the whole month of April. But I digress. Up until the day after Mikayla was found. So they go to the clubhouse where Mikayla is hanging out. They jump her. In the report, they note blood on her lip, a swollen lip, and a black eye. Mikayla tells them all the names of the people who jumped her. They then sit outside of the clubhouse and antagonize her. D.A. Ryan states that all of the kids were in the clubhouse together chilling for 20 minutes. It is a lie. She has been lying throughout this whole case. Okay? Lying throughout this whole case. I feel like I have stepped in an episode of Law and Order, the atrociousness and the lies that this woman has got on TV and told. So they sit outside the clubhouse and antagonize Mikayla, blocking her from leaving, because it's 5 of them and it's 1 of her. Finally, they get in the car and they leave. Mikayla runs home, tells her mother. What does her mother do? Call 911 so a report can be made. Mikayla calls, her mother calls 911. They come. Now, they take the information. There's no report log. The only thing logged is that Mikayla's mother called 911. Excuse me. Where's the report of her being jumped by these 5 individuals? Non-existent. And I posted the police log and how it doesn't exist. Okay. So after that, later that evening, Mikayla left the house maybe around 9:30, 9:45. For whatever reason, the clubhouse is in the complex, and she usually goes to the clubhouse to use her laptop and get Wi-Fi, because the phone that Mikayla had on her did not have Wi-Fi, and she had her laptop with her in her bag. None of this sounds like a young lady who's going to go kill herself. I need y'all to pay attention, because we're going to tell the truth and shame the devil. Mikayla then takes her backpack and leaves the house. Mikayla has on a black sweatsuit, black sweatpants, and a black hoodie. Leaves the house. A few hours later, Mikayla was dead. Now, D.A. Ryan told another lie. She stated that Mikayla walked 1,316 steps. Well, guess what? Calvina contacted Apple. There was no way to trace Mikayla's steps, because the phone was deactivated and it was off, and it had it had nothing in it. The only way you could use the phone is through Wi-Fi. Long story short, this DA admitted that they Googled the information, but that's not what she said publicly. Publicly, she said, we tracked it from Mikayla's phone. Well, you couldn't do that, because the phone that was active, Mikayla's mother had at the house, and it never left the house. She has been lying throughout this whole case, and then admits that, well, maybe we had it wrong. The character assassination and the lies is why DA Ryan needs to be removed from this case and why we need an independent investigation. For a police department and a district attorney to then recruit white supremacists to attack this mom is further reason. Hopkinton is like Mayberry. Okay? That's what it's like. It's like Mayberry. And the moment that this mother spoke up and went against what that state trooper told her not to do, which was go public, they have been on the attack. So now what's going to happen is the very thing that they thought we were going to do, which is protest. Now we're going to protest. Before we did a visual and rally in honor of Mikayla, because that needed to happen, right? That needed to happen because Mikayla's life needed to be honored. We needed to hold space. But the day before Mother's Day, DA Ryan, what you won't do is character assassinate this mom while screaming how important and beautiful Mikayla is. That is gaslighting, and you know exactly what you're doing. But your ego has been damaged, and you're in your feelings. Not for nothing, Jay. I want to give y'all some very interesting information about DA Ryan. Ooh, honey. Ooh. She picked the right one, baby. Okay. So, under DA Ryan's tenure as Middlesex District Attorney, the office has twice been accused of withholding exculpatory evidence that might raise doubt about the accused's guilt, resulting in dropped charges after the information was eventually released. One example stems from a shaken baby homicide case where Aisling Brady MacArthur was accused of killing a 1-year-old for whom she had been caring. She was charged after one prosecution medical expert initially concluded that the 1-year-old had suffered injuries, including severe bleeding in the back of the eyes, which indicated abusive head trauma, also known as shaken baby syndrome, according to the expert. McCarthy was put in custody without bail following her arraignment and prior to trial. While investigating the case, prosecutors sought the opinion of Dr. Alex Levin, an eye specialist. In a series of phone calls started in August 2013, Levin expressed hesitation about coming to that conclusion. He told prosecutors that his findings raised the possibility that the baby's injuries might be caused by something other than abuse, maybe an immune disorder called Job syndrome, according to the court document. Right? In spite of the fact that the United States and Massachusetts Supreme Court law, rules of criminal procedure, and attorneys' ethical guidelines unequivocally require that any evidence that might raise questions of guilt must be immediately turned over to the defense, Marian T. Ryan's office did not release all the information they had on the subject for 16 months following the first phone call with Dr. Levin. Charges were eventually dropped, but not before McCarthy had been held without bail for over a year. Ryan conceded that the information in question should have been released sooner. That's the first one. In 2013, the Middlesex District Attorney's Office was criticized for its handling of Jared Remy, who was arrested for assault and battery on Jenna Martell on August 13, 2013, and then released on his own recognizance 2 days before she was found dead in the couple's apartment in Waltham. There was no active restraining order between the two at the time of Martell's death, and the Middlesex District Attorney's Office did not ask the arraigning judge to continue to hold Remy on domestic violence charges despite his legal history, which reportedly included 13 criminal complaints against him since 1998. 6 of those were for assault and battery. In December 2013, an independent review by a Norfolk County prosecutor and former Essex County District Attorney found Ryan's office's handling of the case to be deficient, including Remy's domestic violence criminal history, the facts in the August 13, 2000 police report, and the fact that there was a young child in the home were not given sufficient weight, while the victim's decision to not come to court to extend the emergency restraining order or to request further conditions was given excessive consideration. When the Boston Globe requested the independent reviewer's report in 2014, DA Marian T. Ryan withheld 19 pages. Do y'all hear me? 19 pages she withheld, including summaries of interviews with prosecutors and victim advocates, the ones that she lied and said contacted Mikayla's mother about Remy's arraignment following the arrest. And also the table of contents, which according to the Boston Globe, it impossible for the public to know that portions of the review were excluded. She has a history of hiding evidence. 19 pages is what she hid, okay? In March of 2016, Catano versus Massachusetts, the United States Supreme Court reversed the conviction of a woman who had been protecting herself against her abusive, violent ex-boyfriend with a stun gun. In a concurring opinion, Justice Samuel Alito, a former federal prosecutor, criticized the decision by Marian T. Ryan's office to prosecute this woman, writing, "A state's most basic responsibility is to keep its people safe. The Commonwealth of Massachusetts was either unable or unwilling to do what was necessary to protect the defendant, and she was forced to protect herself." So she prosecuted the victim. I need y'all to pay attention. Let's tell the truth and shame the devil. So you drop an article about a March assault case in regards to Mikayla's mother to detract away from the fact that you're incompetent, DA Ryan. Criticism by subordinates. What this means, y'all, to break it down in our terms, the people who were working in her office walked away once she got on payroll. 15 months after her appointment as district attorney, 66 of 240 of Ryan's employees left the office. If y'all don't know what we up against, we done stepped into an episode of Law and Order. We done stepped up into a case of cover up, cover up, cover up, cover up, cover up, protect these white folks. This is what we're dealing with. I want y'all to have all the information. I tried to be respectable. I tried to be cordial until I woke up and realized that she was character assassinating this mom because she has a history of cover-up. And they told this mom when she went to the courthouse, well, we kept the case open because you rallied. That is retaliatory. That came from DA Ryan's office. I want y'all to be clear. Sergeant O'Brien works out of DA Ryan's office. Everything in Middlesex County is connected to the Middlesex District Attorney. She needs to be removed, but now we protest. Now we protest. Now we give you what you want. You wanted a protest, you will get one. Because an assault case for March, that girl is dead. She is dead. That is not justification for this young lady's death. For you to try to blame and what she's doing is trying to say that Mikayla was abused and that's why she committed suicide. You are a horrible individual and you gonna burn in hell with gasoline drawers on, young lady. Okay? Because yesterday, and go to NBC 10 and look at that report of the cameras not being found. They also released that a black belt was tied around Mikayla's neck on an 8-inch tree as she was standing. You can't hang from an 8-inch tree. You cannot hang from an 8-inch tree. Mikayla had on a sweatsuit. Where did the belt come from? A black sweatsuit and did not own a black belt. But her neck was tied to the tree while she was on her feet. Y'all pay attention to what's happening in Hopkinton, Massachusetts, and what they're trying to do. If you didn't think that Massachusetts had racist individuals, welcome. You're here now. For all of y'all who are super outraged by George Floyd, it is happening in your backyard. The same way y'all get in the car and load up and go to the club, now we protest. Now we protest. Because what they're doing is assassinating this woman's character to paint the picture of suicide. And I guess I'll leave y'all with this other jewel. Because you know, tell the truth and shame the devil. And I got time today. Violence in Boston did an independent autopsy yesterday. I got on the phone with Tito Jackson in the funeral home. We paid to transport Mikayla to an independent autopsy yesterday. And speaking with this doctor, do y'all realize that the autopsy that we paid for took 2 to 3 hours. 2 to 3 hours. In fact, this particular doctor stated, the funeral home does not have to leave. They can actually stay because we had to send Mikayla out of state to have it done. Because it only takes 2 to 3 hours, and we don't want them to have to go back and forth, being that we are out of state. So have them stick around. Because it only takes 2 to 3 hours for this autopsy. Let me tell y'all what's happening here. It's a cover-up. It is a cover-up. It is a cover-up. It is a cover-up. 2 to 3 hours, y'all, is what it takes. We're not playing with you. You killed one of our babies. The same way y'all are frustrated that they killed 9 of our grandparents in that church. The same way that the police killed Ma'Khia Bryant. And that's the other thing. These white supremacists are so fixated on black folks. They've been confusing Ma'Khia Bryant and Mikayla Miller's cases and saying some nasty derogatory things. And it's disgusting. But it's because, you know, all of us look alike. Y'all pay attention to what's happening here. These kids have police relationships. Their parents are cops. If this was 5 black kids, they would have been arrested already. D.A. Ryan knows exactly what she's doing, which is why she went on a media tour without talking to this family. Y'all pay attention to what's happening at the character assassination and the recruitment of white supremacist news outlets to destroy this mother's character. All of this is strategic. None of this is by accident. It's the same thing that they did to me when they tried to take me down and could not. And could not. They were pissed that we went out to Hopkinton and did a visual in a march. in a rally, and no one got arrested. They were upset. They was looking to be able to report that we came out there and acted crazy. And I was confused, like, what are y'all talking about? But now a protest needs to happen. And we need to bring it directly to D.A. Ryan. We're going to protest you, D.A. Ryan. We honored Mikayla. We held visual. But your pride and privilege wouldn't allow you to step to the side because you don't want to have to say you're incompetent, even though there are multiple cases that prove your incompetency. So now we protest at your doorstep. Because what you won't do is character assassinate this mother, release this article the day before Mother's Day. You're callous. You're callous. I pray for your soul. You are callous. The day before Mother's Day, you drop this article. This mother's child is gone. It has nothing to do with her death. But you thought, why not? Because the white supremacists are high-fiving you through this process. Well, I don't know if nobody told you. But now we go global on you, right? Now 55,000 people will show up to your door. I'm offering rides and paying for lifts so we can show up to your door. Because the level of disrespect and disregard for this family, you've been ignorant, you've spoken to this mother inappropriately, the one time you did talk to her. And let's be clear, shout out to DA Rachel Rollins. That's the only reason you called this mother. Let's tell the truth and shame the devil, DA Ryan. You're character assassinating because black folks have held you accountable. And accountability can feel like an attack when you're not ready to acknowledge the harm and the continuous harm that you continuously keep engaging in. Now we show up to you. No problem. Say no more. If it's not directed, it's not respected, and we get that. Now we put out a global call for a protest. Now we pull people from across the state to come to Hopkinton. Because you seem to not understand that you don't get to allow a black child be murdered in your town and not do anything, and then character assassinate the mother the day before Mother's Day. The level of ignorance and disrespect there, all because you want to protect these white kids. And then she tried to lie and say, well, a couple of them are Latinx. No. No, they all white. They all white. I couldn't come for you the way I needed to come for you on Jim Brody. But I'm coming for you now. And we're all coming. And I'm recruiting because we're coming. You have proved your incompetence in the Remy case. You have proved your incompetence to the point where the United States Supreme Court has had to come to Middlesex to deal with your incompetency. You withheld 19 pages in a case. All to protect your own. Your day is done. Now we want you removed. I want you removed from your job. You're incompetent. Because what you won't do, I hope you didn't think that because you dropped that article, now she was going to lose support. No, honey. What's actually going to happen is she's going to get more now. Because we see the tactic, that white supremacy tactic. You know, different than them folks that climbed the Capitol. You come across progressive, but your progression ain't our progression, you know? You partner up with the black DA and you say how power to the people and you put your Black Lives Matter sign in your front yard. Yeah? You're the person I was talking about that comes to the protest, go homes and eat the cheese sandwich and say, I marched with the Negroes and now I'm woke. Yeah, no. We're done. We're done. You stated on camera that your police officer seen the bruises on Mikayla's face. Excuse me. You see her busted lip that was bleeding. You see her black eye. And now she's dead. No charges filed. No report taken. But you managed to find a case from March that you wanted to keep open purposely so that you could harm this mom. Mikayla's mother doesn't have to say another word. It's go time. It's go time. You don't have a report on her death, but you found this report. You don't have a report on her being jumped, but you got this report. You haven't made an arrest, but you kept this case open to harass this mother. Say no more. We understand. We understand. Say no more. I get it. Because what's understood don't have to be explained. So let me tell y'all what's about to happen. I'm up because I have to go out and take care of some business. I'm going to put together a Facebook invite and a flyer. If you are a white accomplice in this work, you have a responsibility to show up. If you are a black person with a child, nieces, nephews, cousins, and you know what it is like to face racism, you have a responsibility to show up. Let me tell you what Violence in Boston is going to do. We got a van that's 15 passengers. We got some lift codes. I drive an SUV. We're going to take a road trip. But now it's a protest. Shout out to Freedom Fighters Coalition. Shout out to Shimmy. Shimmy been hitting me up. Monica, we got to do something. Something don't feel right. And I've been holding him at bay. Shimmy's like, Monica, we got to do something else. We got to apply this pressure. And I've been like, give me a minute. Let me just see what's about to happen. Now, it's on. Black Boston, I'm calling you. Freedom Fighters Coalition, I'm calling you. Surge, I'm calling you. Everybody who claim they standing up for racial justice, we in Massachusetts today. Not George Floyd, not Breonna Taylor, not Ahmaud Arbery, Mikayla Miller, Massachusetts. That's where we at. Protesting for all of y'all who are like, everybody's so worried about globally. What about the local violence? Okay, cool. Say no more. Say no more. Because it's in our backyard. Mikayla was not suicidal. And one of her former school teachers who worked at the high school has been talking to me through this whole process. Mikayla did not kill herself. This is a cover-up. Y'all have now stepped into an episode of Law and Order. We're going to show up in numbers. Do you understand me? Numbers. Domingos, I'm not changing my wording. I am who I am. And you are who you are. We are protesting. This is a protest. Everybody wants you to change your wording. to make these people feel comfortable. Let me tell you what's uncomfortable: death. Let me tell you what's uncomfortable: having to ID your child's body. What's uncomfortable is Mother's Day is tomorrow and your child is not here. I'm not appeasing anyone, and I'm also not running for nothing. Period. They very comfortable when they kill us. I'm going to make you uncomfortable because you're going to leave, D.A. Ryan. Period, point blank. It is time for you to be unemployed at this point because you have proved your incompetency. My job is not to make anybody comfortable. We did our visual, we did our rally, and I kept it cordial out of respect for her family. With all due respect, I hope her family understands the turn up is real. With all due respect. You want to know why? Monica, why are you going so hard? Are you related to her? I don't have to be. I'm a mom of 5 kids. Anything happened to one of my kids, I am turning the city of Boston upside down. I don't want to hear no marching. I don't want to hear no peaceful protests. I am going to turn this city upside down. So I can imagine what her mother is feeling like. Only imagine. And when they put a gun to my son's head and pulled the trigger and he lived, I had a responsibility to every mother who wasn't as lucky. And I hope everybody on this live has that same responsibility to show up for this mom in numbers. When I tell you numbers, you share this. You contact every activist that you have contact with. You contact every racial justice organization in this country because we're coming, D.A. Ryan. We are coming. And no, I want to be clear. Because, oh my God, Monica's inciting violence and she's telling them to come fight us. No, we're coming to protest your removal. We applying pressure. And all you good white folks who like to quote MLK, remember y'all hosed him and 6 dogs on him even when he was peacefully protesting. Let's be clear about how y'all feel about black people getting together. The selectman board had a meeting about us coming to Hopkinton, not because Mikayla was dead, but because, oh my God, diversity is showing up in numbers. I want y'all to understand something. I watch people capitalize off of this. I watch everybody in the world share Mikayla's story and her flyer. Everybody had all this information. The information they had came from Tito Jackson, Mikayla's mother, and me. Or the individuals who are on our team, the ACLU, Arthur, from the NAACP, and so on and so forth. We even had one of our own trying to convince this mother to kumbaya with them. Not today, Satan. Not today. And look at how she's attacking. So, I'm gonna get dressed and go take care of my business. By the end of today, there will be a Facebook invite that you are required to share and invite people to. You are required to share. Okay? And I don't mean just get on Facebook with your thoughts and prayers. I need you to show up. Make time in your schedule. Show up. No justice, there will be no peace. Do you understand me? There will be no peace. Mikayla Miller is dead. The character assassination is disgusting. Do you understand? They are character assassinating his mom. You couldn't get a report to file charges on the white teenagers whose parents are police officers. You couldn't get a report on her being jumped. There's no report on you finding her body. You still haven't talked to the family who owns the property where Mikayla was found. The woman who found her, you haven't talked to her and there's no report. But you're going to contact the Boston Herald and you're going to contact Turtle Boys. Say no more. Say no more. Do y'all understand? It is 8:54 in the morning and I am up. I woke up to a text message from Tito that made my blood boil. I haven't even talked to Calvina yet, but I don't need to. Because what we're not going to do is character assassinate this mother the day before Mother's Day. Y'all got the game fucked up. And all of y'all who stay attacking your own on a local level, where you at? Y'all spend y'all days attacking your own. Where you at? Because today, it's Mikayla's mother. Tomorrow, it's you. Everybody's cool when it's not them personally. Then the moment it happens, y'all on my phone. When you see somebody else being attacked, keep your mouth shut and pay attention. Because today, it is Calvina. Tomorrow, it's all of you. Massachusetts is one of the most racist states in this country. And if you don't think so, you haven't been paying attention. Set foot out of Dorchester, Roxbury, Mattapan, and see what happens. I listen to white folks talk about why they come into the suburbs. We have to protect our suburbs. Yeah? Y'all killed a black child. See you soon.